In the tranquil shade of a banyan tree, the Buddha sat surrounded by his disciples in serene silence. Ananda approached him hesitantly, his face clouded with inner turmoil and doubt about his worth. "Master," Ananda began, his voice trembling, "I cannot stop comparing myself to others and finding myself lacking." The Buddha's eyes met Ananda's, filled with understanding and compassion, as he prepared to guide his disciples' heart. "Come, Ananda," the Buddha said gently. "Let us walk through the garden and observe what nature teaches us without words." The disciples followed quietly, sensing the profound lesson that was about to unfold in their master's presence. The garden bloomed vibrantly, with flowers of various shapes, colors, and sizes swaying in the soft breeze. "Ananda," the Buddha spoke, gesturing toward a brilliant rose bush. "What do you see before you?" Ananda gazed at the roses, their rich red petals glowing under the sun's tender light. "I see beautiful roses, Master." "Bold and proud," Ananda replied, his voice filled with awe and admiration. The Buddha then motioned to a cluster of tiny daisies growing humbly at the base of the roses. "And what do you see here, my dear Ananda?" the Buddha asked. "I see daisies, simple and small, yet they brighten the earth with their modest presence," Ananda answered thoughtfully. "Do you think the roses look down upon the daisies for their simplicity?" the Buddha inquired, his voice calm and steady. Ananda shook his head, recognizing the harmony within the garden. "No, Master. Each flower blooms as it is meant to, without judgment or comparison," Ananda admitted softly. The Buddha's serene smile deepened as he continued. "Then why, my dear disciple, do you burden yourself with comparisons, doubting your own unique purpose?" Ananda's heart stirred as the Buddha's words began to dissolve the layers of doubt clouding his mind. "Master, I cannot help but see others' achievements as reflections of my own inadequacy," Ananda confessed. His eyes lowered in shame. The Buddha paused by a flowing stream, its gentle waters sparkling with sunlight, inviting reflection and peace. "Ananda," the Buddha said, crouching by the water's edge, "observe how the stream moves forward, unbothered by the rivers and oceans." The disciples watched silently as the stream trickled onward, its journey independent and untainted by comparison with larger waters. "Master," Ananda said, his voice filled with wonder, "the stream carries its purpose without measuring itself against the grandeur of the ocean." The Buddha nodded, adding, "So too must you flow with your own purpose, free from the heavy chains of comparison." Ananda knelt beside the Buddha, the stream's cool touch mirroring the clarity washing over his mind. "But Master," Ananda questioned, "how do I let go of this habitual comparison that feels so ingrained within me?" The Buddha's gaze turned skyward, where the clouds danced freely across the vast expanse, unbound and ever-changing. "Comparison," the Buddha explained, "is like grasping at clouds, a futile effort that obscures the infinite sky of your potential." Ananda's eyes followed the clouds, their freedom and fluidity reminding him of the possibility for liberation within himself. "You cling to comparison," the Buddha continued, "because you seek validation outside yourself, forgetting the intrinsic worth within your being." The disciples listened intently, the Buddha's words resonating deeply, planting seeds of wisdom within their hearts. The garden, the stream, and the sky seemed to echo the Buddha's teachings, offering lessons in their silent existence. Ananda's voice trembled as he spoke. "Master, I feel unworthy without validation, as if my value depends on how I compare to others." The Buddha placed a reassuring hand on Ananda's shoulder, his touch imbued with profound understanding and empathy. "Your worth, Ananda," the Buddha said firmly, "is not a reflection in another's mirror, but the light within your own soul." The disciples felt their spirits stir as the Buddha's wisdom illuminated the darkness of their own insecurities. the sun began its descent, casting golden hues across the garden, enriching the natural beauty surrounding the disciples. "Master," Ananda asked, his voice steadier now, "how can I nurture this light within and free myself from these comparisons?" The Buddha stood, his presence exuding the boundless peace and wisdom of one who has transcended the traps of the ego. "Begin," the Buddha instructed, "by acknowledging and honoring your journey, for it is unlike any other and holds its own treasures." Ananda rose to his feet, a newfound determination flickering within him. Seeking to walk the path illuminated by his master's teachings, the Buddha motioned toward the horizon, where the sun met the earth in a glorious union of light and shadow. "Each life," the Buddha explained, "is like the sun's journey, rising and setting according to its own rhythm and purpose." Ananda watched the horizon with a sense of awe, understanding that his life, too, followed its unique course. "Comparison," the Buddha concluded, "blinds you to the beauty of your journey and binds you to suffering that need not be." The disciples felt the truth of the Buddha's words, their hearts swelling with gratitude for the wisdom shared in this sacred moment. The day faded into twilight, the stars emerging one by one to adorn the night sky with their gentle light. "Look at the stars, Ananda," the Buddha said, pointing to the heavens. "Each shines with its own brilliance." Unbothered by the other, the disciples lifted their gazes, marveling at the celestial harmony that mirrored the teachings unfolding within their hearts. "When you see others' light," the Buddha advised, "let it inspire you rather than diminish your own radiance." Ananda's soul stirred as he realized the liberating power of viewing others' successes as sources of inspiration, not comparison. "Master," Ananda said, his voice filled with gratitude, "your teachings have opened my eyes to a truth I had forgotten." The Buddha's serene smile warmed the cool night air, his presence as steady and comforting as the eternal stars. "Remember, Ananda," the Buddha said, "that the path to liberation begins with the simple act of letting go." The disciples bowed in reverence, their hearts swelling with the profound wisdom imparted by their master. Ananda felt a newfound peace take root within him, a delicate yet enduring blossom of self-acceptance and understanding. The banyan tree stood tall, its ancient roots intertwined with the sacred moments shared beneath its protective canopy. The Buddha's teachings lingered in the air, a timeless truth etched into the hearts of all who had listened. Another day, under the golden embrace of sunrise, the Buddha and his disciples gathered by the tranquil riverbank. The rhythmic sound of flowing water merged with the gentle rustling of leaves, creating an atmosphere of peace. Ananda sat quietly, his gaze fixed on the river, his mind still troubled by the lingering weight of comparison. "Master," Ananda finally spoke, breaking the serene silence, "though I understand your teaching, my heart still struggles to find true liberation." The Buddha turned toward Ananda, his expression calm yet filled with infinite compassion. As he prepared to offer further guidance, "Ananda," the Buddha began, his voice soft and steady, "step closer to the water with me and observe its surface." Together, they crouched at the river's edge, where the water mirrored the sky above, a perfect reflection of tranquility. "What do you see, my dear disciple?" the Buddha asked, his gaze steady on the shimmering expanse. Ananda hesitated before replying, "I see the reflection of the trees, the clouds, and myself, all appearing within the river." The Buddha nodded, his hands gesturing toward the river, as if embracing its timeless wisdom. "The reflection you see is not the true self," the Buddha explained, "but merely an image cast upon the surface." The disciples listened attentively as the Buddha continued, "When the surface is calm, the reflection appears clear and accurate to the eye." Ananda nodded, understanding the simplicity of the lesson, yet sensing the deeper truth that lay beneath the Buddha's words. But when the water is disturbed, the Buddha said, his hand gently brushing the surface, the reflection becomes distorted and unclear. Ripples spread across the river, breaking the perfect image into fragmented waves, reflecting chaos instead of calm. This disturbance, the Buddha explained, is caused by external forces. Much like comparison disturbs the clarity of your mind. The disciples watched as the ripples gradually subsided, the water reclaiming its stillness and returning to its mirror-like state. To let go of comparison, the Buddha said, you must calm the waters of your mind and restore its natural clarity. Ananda's eyes remained fixed on the river, the lesson resonating deeply as he considered how his inner disturbances mirrored the ripples. Master, Ananda asked, his voice tinged with vulnerability, how do I calm these waters when life itself stirs them incessantly? The Buddha rose to his feet, his presence radiating serenity, as if embodying the answer within himself. Come, Ananda, the Buddha said, motioning toward a cluster of trees nearby, their roots anchored deep in the earth. They walked together in silence, the cool shade of the trees offering respite from the warm sunlight above. Do you see how these trees stand firm and unmoved, even when the wind blows through their branches? The Buddha asked. Ananda observed the trees, their trunks strong and unwavering, their leaves dancing freely in the breeze. Their strength, the Buddha continued, comes from their roots, which anchor them to the earth and provide stability in the storm. Ananda nodded, his thoughts turning inward as he considered the roots that could anchor him amidst the winds of life. Master, Ananda asked, what are the roots that I must nurture to remain steadfast and calm within myself? The Buddha smiled, his eyes filled with the wisdom of one who has walked the path and transcended its challenges. The roots you must nurture are mindfulness, self-compassion, and the understanding of your own intrinsic worth, the Buddha answered. Mindfulness, he explained, allows you to observe the present moment without judgment, calming the waters of your mind. The disciples leaned closer, eager to absorb the truth that the Buddha generously shared. Like rain nourishing parched soil, self-compassion, the Buddha continued, is the gentle acceptance of your imperfections and the recognition of your humanity in its entirety. Ananda's heart softened as he considered how often he had judged himself harshly, forgetting to extend kindness inward. And intrinsic worth, the Buddha said, his voice steady, is the unshakable truth that your value is not determined by comparison. The disciples felt a wave of understanding ripple through them, each word planting seeds of wisdom in the fertile soil of their hearts. Ananda took a deep breath, the teachings sinking into the depths of his being, as if nourishing his newly discovered roots. Master, Ananda said, his voice steady yet humble, how do I cultivate these roots when doubt and ego constantly pull at me? The Buddha gestured toward the nearby stream, its waters flowing over stones, smoothing their rough edges over time. Just as the stream shapes the stones with patience, you must cultivate these roots with consistent effort and gentle persistence. Ananda watched the stream, its gentle yet unwavering flow a testament to the power of perseverance and dedication. The Buddha crouched by the stream, his fingers tracing the cool water, a silent reverence for its endless wisdom. Each day, Ananda, take time to meditate, to reflect, and to remind yourself of these truths, the Buddha advised. Be patient with yourself, for transformation does not happen overnight but unfolds gradually, like the blooming of a lotus. The disciples listened in silence, the Buddha's words resonating deeply as they envisioned their own paths toward inner peace. Ananda bowed his head, humbled by the simplicity and depth of the guidance offered by his revered master. The sun began its descent, painting the sky with hues of gold and amber, a daily reminder of the cycle of time. Ananda, the Buddha said, his voice warm and encouraging, Remember that each sunset holds the promise of a new dawn. The disciples rose, their hearts lightened by the profound teachings, their minds clearer and their spirits more resolute. Ananda felt a newfound strength within him, as though the roots of mindfulness, self-compassion, and intrinsic worth had begun to grow. The river, the trees, and the stream seemed to echo the Buddha's wisdom, each embodying the essence of his teachings. The stars emerged one by one, their light soft yet steadfast, illuminating the path ahead with a quiet brilliance. "Master," Ananda said, his voice filled with gratitude, "your teachings are like the stars, guiding us through the darkness with unwavering light." The Buddha's serene smile shone in the starlight, his presence a source of comfort and inspiration to all who surrounded him. "Remember, Ananda," the Buddha said, "you are like the star that shines, unique and irreplaceable, your light undiminished by others." Ananda bowed deeply, his heart overflowing with gratitude and a renewed determination to walk the path of liberation. Another day, under the vast expanse of a cloudless sky, the Buddha and his disciples gathered in the monastery's courtyard. The sound of a gentle breeze rustling the leaves filled the air, adding a serene melody to their surroundings. Ananda approached the Buddha, a faint sense of hope illuminating his once troubled expression. "Master," Ananda said, his voice steady yet searching, "I feel I understand, but doubts still linger within me." The Buddha turned to face his disciple, his gaze warm and unwavering, radiating the infinite patience of one who has attained true peace. "Ananda," the Buddha began, his voice like the gentle flow of water, "come with me and walk through the village." The disciples rose, following the Buddha and Ananda as they journeyed down the winding path toward the vibrant heart of the village. The streets were alive with activity, vendors selling their wares, children laughing, and villagers going about their daily lives. "Observe the people," Ananda, the Buddha said, gesturing to the bustling scene before them, "and tell me what you see in their faces." Ananda looked closely, noticing the expressions of joy, frustration, contentment, and longing etched upon the villagers' features. "Master," Ananda replied thoughtfully, "I see a tapestry of emotions, each face a reflection of the unique lives they lead." The Buddha nodded, a serene smile gracing his lips. As he continued walking, his steps measured and purposeful, they approached a potter's workshop, where the artisan was carefully shaping clay into exquisite vases, each distinct in design. "Ananda," the Buddha said, motioning toward the potter's creations, "does the vase compare itself to the bowl or the pitcher?" Ananda shook his head, understanding the simplicity of the question yet sensing the profound truth it conveyed. "No, Master," Ananda said, his voice firm, "each vessel serves its purpose, shaped by the potter's hands with intention and care." The Buddha's smile deepened as he spoke. "So too are you shaped by the hands of life, molded to fulfill your unique purpose." The disciples listened intently, the vibrant energy of the village harmonizing with the Buddha's timeless wisdom, weaving a lesson into their hearts. "Comparison," Ananda, the Buddha continued, "is like asking the vase to measure itself against the bowl, a futile act that denies its essence." Ananda's eyes brightened with understanding, the lesson sinking into his soul like rain nourishing the roots of a parched tree. The Buddha led them further, to the edge of the village, where a farmer was tending to a field of rice and wheat. The golden stalks swayed gently in the breeze, their movement a graceful dance of unity and individuality. "Ananda," the Buddha said, his voice thoughtful, "do you see how the rice and wheat grow together, each contributing to the harvest?" Ananda nodded, marveling at the harmonious coexistence of the crops, each thriving without overshadowing the other. "The rice does not envy the wheat," the Buddha explained, "for it understands that together they nourish and sustain the village." The disciples observed the farmer's diligent care, his hands skillfully tending to each plant, ensuring its growth and vitality. You, too, Ananda, are like the rice, the Buddha said, growing alongside others, each playing a vital role in life's tapestry. Ananda felt the weight of his comparisons begin to lift, replaced by a sense of belonging and purpose within the greater whole. Master, Ananda said, his voice filled with gratitude, your teachings have shown me that I am enough, as I am. In this moment, the Buddha's serene expression reflected his joy at seeing his disciples' transformation. The spark of realization glowing brightly within Ananda, as the sun began its descent, casting a warm golden hue over the landscape. The Buddha led the disciples to a hill overlooking the village. The view was breathtaking, fields stretching endlessly, the river glimmering like a silver ribbon, and the sky painted with hues of orange and pink. Ananda, the Buddha said, his voice steady and filled with purpose. Look at the horizon and tell me what you see. Ananda gazed out, his heart swelling with a sense of awe and connectedness to the beauty before him. I see the unity of nature, Ananda replied, each element in harmony, creating a masterpiece greater than its individual parts. The Buddha's eyes twinkled with approval as he spoke. Remember this, Ananda, your life is a part of this masterpiece, unique and essential. The disciples felt the weight of the Buddha's words, the truth resonating deeply as they contemplated their own roles in life's vast tapestry. Comparison, the Buddha continued, distracts you from seeing the beauty of your contribution and the interconnectedness of all existence. Ananda bowed his head, humbled and inspired, his heart alight with the clarity and wisdom bestowed by his master. Master, Ananda said, his voice firm with determination, I will strive to let go of comparison and honor my unique path. The stars began to appear, their soft light illuminating the night, a gentle reminder of the infinite vastness of the universe. Each star, the Buddha said, pointing to the heavens, shines with its own light, contributing to the beauty of the night sky. The disciples gazed upward, their hearts lifted by the celestial harmony that mirrored the teachings they had received. Let your light shine, Ananda, the Buddha said, without dimming it by the shadow of comparison. For the world needs your brilliance. Ananda felt a newfound freedom within him, as though the chains of doubt had dissolved, leaving him lighter and more at peace. The moon rose, casting its silver glow over the land, its light unyielding and serene, a beacon in the darkness. The moon does not compete with the sun, the Buddha said, for it knows its place and purpose in the cosmos. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts overflowing with gratitude for the wisdom shared under the vast expanse of the night sky. Ananda felt a profound sense of liberation, the teachings weaving themselves into the very fabric of his being, guiding him forward. The Buddha's serene smile illuminated the night, his presence a testament to the boundless peace that comes from understanding and acceptance. As the disciples returned to the monastery, the Buddha's words echoed in their minds, a source of strength and clarity. Ananda walked with a lightness he had not felt before, his heart open to the possibilities of his unique journey. The banyan tree stood tall, its ancient roots intertwined with the sacred moments shared beneath its protective canopy. A witness to transformation, the Buddha's teachings lingered in the air, a timeless truth etched into the hearts of all who had listened and learned. And so, under the watchful stars, the disciples embraced the path of self-acceptance, guided by the infinite wisdom of their master. Pain and joy are as the sun and moon, each part of the cycle of life, neither lasting forever. To trust is to know that beyond every shadow lies light, beyond every sorrow lies the seed of peace. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.